On June 3, 1982, the Avro Vulcan, commanded by the pilot, Flight Lieutenant Neil McDougall, and his co-pilot, Flight Lieutenant Chris Lackman, was on the sixth mission of Operation Black Buck. The objective was to attack Argentine radar positions on the islands with AGM-45 Shrike anti-radiation missiles. Operation Black Buck was a series of 7 long-distance bombing missions considered extremely audacious by the Royal Air Force during the Falklands War. The great challenge was the distance. Taking off from Ascension Island, the bombers needed to fly nearly 13,000 kilometers round trip. To overcome this, each Vulcan required the support of more than 10 tanker aircraft in an aerial choreography in total darkness. An 18-hour logistical marathon on the edge of the impossible. After attacking its target on the long journey back, disaster strikes.
What was that? I've lost pressure on the probe. Neil, she's not taking it.
Easy, easy. Try again, back off and move in smoothly.
During the last and crucial refueling, the Vulcan's probe breaks.
Negative. No flow. The transfer light isn't coming on. Damn it. I think the tip is gone. It's broken.
Victor Leader, this is Ascot 597. We have a problem. I repeat, a problem with the refueling probe. The connection is lost.
Roger, Ascot 597. Confirm the nature of the problem. Is another attempt possible?
Negative, Victor. The probe tip appears to have sheared off. We have no way to take on fuel.
Understood, Ascot. Hold your position. We are computing your options. Stand by.
All right, chaps. Steady on. Navigator, what's our fuel state? Give me the numbers for Ascension now.
Bingo fuel for Ascension is long past, Skipper. We're at 7,500 kilos. Even with a tailwind, we won't get close. We'll run dry about 400 miles from the runway.
Ascot 597. This is Victor Leader. Your only viable option is a diversion to the mainland. The nearest airfield capable of taking you is Rio de Janeiro Galeão in Brazil.
Roger, Victor Leader. We are diverting to Brazil.
Now, without the ability to receive fuel, only one option remains. A leap of faith, a diversion to the only possible safe harbor. Brazil, a neutral country, but with sympathies for Argentina. Invading its airspace was an immense diplomatic and military risk, but the alternative was to crash into the sea. McDougall turns the giant delta-winged aircraft towards the continent. At 9:38 a.m. in Brazil's Air Defense Center, the blip is detected. An unidentified aircraft at high speed on a collision course with Rio de Janeiro's airspace with no flight plan, no permission.
Alerta vermelho na Bravo. Alfa, Sierra, Charlie. Código Rojão de Fogo. Repito, código Rojão de Fogo. Invasor hostil em potencial, sem identificação positiva, não responde à comunicação. Acionem a parelha de alerta.
The order is issued by the Aerospace Defense Command, Código Rojão de Fogo, a code for real activation and imminent risk to Brazil. At the Santa Cruz Air Base, Captain Raul Diaz and Captain Marcos Coelho run to their F-5E Tiger II fighters. This is not training. Their planes are armed for combat. In less than 5 minutes, they are in the air, with authorization to break the sound barrier. Over the Baixada Fluminense, a double sonic boom shatters the morning peace. It's the sound of the Brazilian Tigers tearing through the sky, a demonstration of force and speed. The hunt has begun. Guided by ground control, they close in on the target. The tension in the cockpit is maxed out. Who are they? What are their intentions?
Jaguar 01 e 02 no ar, potência máxima, solicitando o vetor para o alvo.
Center Jaguar, subam para Foxtrot Golf 25. Contato a 30 milhas, proa 090.
Entendido.
Tension rises in the Tiger's cockpit. They don't know what to expect. With the radios off, the Vulcan crew heads desperately toward Brazil. Flying at a supersonic speed of Mach 1.4, Brazil's F-5 Tigers tear through the sky, closing in fast on the Avro Vulcan.
Tally Ho, contato visual, 11 horas visualizado.
Vectored by the controller at St. Cruz Air Base, the Brazilian pilots spot a gigantic Delta Wing aircraft heading toward the continent.
Afirmativo, visual no alvo, controle, o alvo é um bombardeiro. Confirmo, um Avro Vulcan, quadrimotor, pintura camuflada, sem sinais de agressividade.
And then, visual contact. It's not a passenger plane, it's not a spy jet, it's an Avro Vulcan, a strategic bomber, a symbol of the Cold War, wounded and flying low off the coast of Brazil. The mission changes instantly. The adrenaline of combat gives way to an airman's instinct. The hunter becomes the shepherd.
Jaguar 02, assuma a posição para disparo.
Ciente.
Oh shit, look to the left. There's a fighter behind us. Keep the radio off.
Understood.
Captain Raul Diaz rocks the wings of his F-5 Tiger, signaling the Vulcan crew of the interception. Moments later, he raises a placard displaying the radio frequency for communication.
Unidentified aircraft, this is Brazilian Air Force fighter off your left wing. You have violated sovereign Brazilian airspace. Identify yourself immediately or you will be fired upon.
No response from the Vulcan. The aircraft stays on course. The Vulcan pilots have their transmitter turned off.
Controle, aqui Jaguar 01, sem resposta. Ele está nos ignorando. Jaguar 02, prepare para um possível disparo de aviso. 60 baixo, fique pronto.
Entendido.
Falcon Bomber, this is your final warning. My wingman is in firing position. Acknowledge now.
Okay.
Brazilian fighter, do not fire. I repeat, do not fire. We are declaring Mayday.
Mayday. This is Royal Air Force Ascot 597. We have a critical equipment failure and our bingo on fuel. We are unable to return to base. We require an immediate emergency landing.
Controle. O alvo declarou emergência. Falha de equipamento e sem combustível. A situação parece legítima.
Ciente, Jaguar. Missão alterada. Prioridade agora é escolta. Ameaça reclassificada. Jaguar 02, saia da posição de tiro e retorne para a formação de escolta. Entendido.
The most unlikely of escorts begins. The FAB fighters guide the wounded giant through the skies towards the safety of Galeão Airport.
Controle Torre, aqui Jaguar 01, o Avrocampo pousou em segurança na base aérea do Galeão. Solicito retorno para retornar ao waypoint do início.
The Vulcan lands with its tanks practically empty. Its engines die on the runway. The British crew is detained and a 7-day diplomatic crisis begins. Knowing they were about to violate the airspace of a neutral country while carrying live weapons, the Vulcan crew, fearing serious diplomatic repercussions, attempted to jettison the 2 Shrike anti-radiation missiles mounted on the wing pylons before entering Brazilian airspace. However, only 1 missile was successfully released. The other remained stuck on the bomber's wing. The Brazilian government interrogated the crew and kept the Avro Vulcan grounded on Brazilian soil for a week. After diplomatic negotiations, the aircraft was cleared to return to the United Kingdom. Brazil agreed to return the Shrike anti-radiation missile at a later date to ensure it would not be used further in the war against Argentina. However, the missile was never returned. A day when another's war knocked on the door, and the Brazilian Air Force answered with readiness, strength, and ultimately, honor. If you liked the video, subscribe.